Oh, there it is. Sounds a whole lot better. Next, oil change, oil filter, fuel filter. And I still got the motor mount. And lower radiator hose eventually because it's kind of spongy. Yeah, it ain't tight. I got it loose. All back together. Besides the breather and stuff, but we have fired it up. Just double checking. I got to re-snug the bolts, especially I got to check the ones on the bottom. That's why I'm letting it cool. Get the breather back on there, new filter in. Lot cleaner. Whole lot cleaner. Got the intake back on. Got the stainless header down there. I got to snug everything up. Plug all the injectors in, put all that back, put the breather back in, vacuum lines, and then do an oil change. Getting there though, a lot cleaner. Them bottom bolts were a pain. Oh man, they was a pain. It's about to storm, so I'm gonna jump off here before the rain takes over. I'll show y'all when it's done and started up running. Got everything cleaned. We got that one. It's actually for my other Jeep, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it on this one. So, brand new stainless header with exhaust, gasket studs. So here we go. Let's get her put back together before this rain comes in. This is about dry. Should be. This is my intake cleaned up. Let me get it back together. I'll be right back. Here we are back at the Jeep again. Let me flip this around. Fixing to pull all this stuff right here out of the way. I got to pull the intake and exhaust right there and replace that gasket. I also got a donut gasket down there for where the pipe and header goes together, because technically it does have a header on it. And while I have it off, I need to check and see if there's any cracks in it that can be welded up, or if I just need to buy another one. And I actually have a new stainless header in there, but it was actually for the extra engine for this one, for whenever I pull that one out. That one does still run. But anyway, let me get back to it, get some of this stuff out of the way. Got some of this. So I was going to do the oil change, and then I was like, well, I ought to do that first and then do the oil change. And I got that to put in it just for some extra, because this does have 2, something. $234.20. And of course we still need to clean the inside. It's filthy. Look at all these. I don't know if I showed y'all, but show that pile of pennies. I mean, just a whole pile. All under the seat. Guess he dumped his piggy bank out. I don't know. Sure. Was not sure of that. But, alright. It's hot, humid here in Texas. So let me go ahead and get started. Alright, well, we haven't gotten very far at all. And I figured I'd show y'all this. All I did was take this loose, this little vacuum line, the hose that went to the valve cover over. But look at this. That thing is filthy. Glad I got a new one. That is definitely not going back. Whew. Alright. I'll be back with y'all here shortly. Alright. We got these labeled just in case. We're going to pull that wire harness right there out. Unplug the O2 sensor. Found that. It's got to be fixed. Wire, bare wire. So got all this unbolted. This bolts to the block. Got that undone from down there. We're gonna pull the wiring back and then we'll start unbolting the intake. Already took this bolt out that's going into the side of the intake that's holding the power steering pump. Alright, let me get this wiring harness out of the way and we'll go from there. Well, got the intake out of there. I gotta pull this bolt here the rest of the way out, one on the end back there, and get that exhaust manifold undone. This is already undone down here. Got the fuel line disconnected there. I need a new motor mount. Motor mount is busted. Here's the intake. I'm gonna clean it up too, 'cause it just ain't been maintained. Look how filthy that is down in there. I'm gonna clean as much as I can out of there. Terrible. I did look for cracks. This one back here, that little wing right there is busted off, but it don't affect it none. It didn't go all the way into the housing. So we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna get it cleaned up the best we can. May pull the injectors out, put new O-rings on those. I'm not sure yet. Let me know what y'all think I should do. Should I replace the injectors completely, or should I just put the new O-rings, or should I just leave them in the intake like they are and not touch them? Let me know in the comments. Alright. It's off of there. We'll get all this cleaned up. I ended up having to pull the power steering pump out of the way just to get it off the stud here. Get that gasket off. And there it is. And unfortunately, we'll throw that right there. This thing is in terrible shape. Looks like somebody tried to weld it up at one time. Oh man, sliced myself. Didn't know that. Anyway, didn't know I sliced my thumb. Alright. Yeah, that is a terrible mess. That's all weld, just built up weld. So this doesn't need to go back on there. So on to cleaning the intake. And the block where the gasket will be sitting. Yeah, you see this backside, I mean, you could sit there and tell where it's blowed out and just cooking. Sitting there just shooting it out. That was the main leak. That one there. Well, let me get all this cleaned up best I can. Need to swap that motor mount too. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, well, I got a lot of it cleaned up. Cleaned out all the ports. Got as much junk out of it as I could. But I guess I'm gonna have to go and look up, see what this exhaust header is gonna cost. So I got all the gaskets and new bolts and everything to go back together, and now it's all cracked and welded. So let me see what one of those costs and if they have one local or not, and we'll go from there. I sure hope they do, because I'd hate to leave it open. I like to go right back with it if I can, preferably. I'll be back with y'all just in a second.